Good morning, children. In the previous class, we completed the lesson, the value of time. Now we are going to discuss the exercises under the task for summative assessment in page number 31 of your textbook. Let us discuss under which in A part we have got some questions. Under what have you understood? What kind of a boy was Bhikkhu? What kind of a boy was Bhikkhu? Means we have tried the characters of Bhikkhu. Bhikkhu was fun-loving, lazy, and would spend his time sleeping, gossiping, and just lazing away. This is Bhikkhu was fun-loving, lazy, and would spend his time sleeping, gossiping, and just lazing away. You can see in the first page of the lesson, in the first paragraph itself, we can find the answer. Second question, why was the farmer annoyed with his son? Why was the farmer annoyed with his son? What do you mean by annoyed? Annoyed means irritated, angered, or get angry. The farmer was annoyed with his son because of his laziness. As the boy was always lazy, this Bhikkhu was always lazy, that lazy character of Bhikkhu annoyed or angered the farmer. What would the farmer often think of? You can look at the first page of the lesson. He would often think of a way that would stir his young son to make active. The farmer would look at the first page, first paragraph. Often think of a way that would stir his young son to make active. You can look at this. He would always think of how to make his son change his attitude, change his behavior. He always would think of a way how to stir the emotions of his lazy son. Question number 4, how did the farmer try to make his son learn the value of time? How did the farmer try to make his son learn the value of time? Like this, look at the second page, children. He used to say to his son like this, look here, my son, nature goes by certain design and teaches us to work in time. Did you ever see the sun rising late or the moon not appearing in the sky at night? In nature's design, every moment is precious. With these words, he tried to make his son understand the value of time. He was pointing out that the sun would never rise late and the moon would not refuse to shine in the night. In the nature, everything goes according to a particular design and time. Like that, he tried to make his son learn the value of time. Where did the farmer hide the gold? Where did he hide the gold? The farmer hid the gold. Hide past form is hid. The farmer hid the gold in the hollow of a barren tree in a far corner of the field. Hollow means an empty space inside a tree's trunk, which is already covered with the dry leaves and the grass by stray birds. So the farmer thought it would be a safe place because it was a barren tree, nobody would come there. So he hid the gold there in that. Sixth question. So Bhikkhu put off for another day. Put off means, I told you already, children, put off means to postpone. Put off means to postpone. It's a phrasal verb. To postpone or to defer. DEFER. To defer means postpone. Again, Bhikkhu put off for another day. What did he put off? Let us go back to the lesson again. What did he put off? He put off going to the tree, the barren tree, to get the gold back according to his father's instructions. He put off it for another day because he thought, of course, he was lazy, he was overtaken by the laziness, and moreover, he thought that there was no hurry to go to the tree today, because that particular day, because nobody would know about the hidden gold there. Thinking like that, he put off his decision to go to the tree and bring the gold back from the hollow of the tree. Question number 7. How did Bhikkhu's laziness cost him a fortune? It happened that a poor woodcutter went there the next day, finding the tree dry. Dry means barren. He cut it down. He was pleasantly amazed to find a bag full of gold in the hollow of the tree that he cut, and he took it home. In this way, Bhikkhu's laziness cost him his fortune. Okay, children, let us go to the B bit. Write yes or no only. We need not write complete answers for these questions. You just say yes or no. Is the farmer lazy? No. Is the farmer hardworking? Yes. Has Bhikkhu ever seen the sunrise and heard the song of chirping birds? No. Did Bhikkhu go to work from the next morning? No. Did you ever see the sun rising late? No. Did Bhikkhu get the hidden fortune? No. Okay? Now, in the C bit, there is a paragraph given there. You have to complete the lines with suitable words from the story. You just remember what happened in the story. Try to fill in the blanks here in this paragraph with appropriate words. Let us see. Since he woke up late, Bhikkhu had never seen the sunrise from the horizon. In the first blank, what we have tried there, from the horizon, nor had he heard the song of the chirping birds. Second blank, chirping birds. He had not seen how the breeze. Third blank, we have tried breeze. Bends the tree with its caring touch. Time once spent can be Money once spent can be got back, but time once lost is lost forever. So that is how we have to fill in the blanks there. I repeat the answers, children. Anyway, these answers will be sent to you through WhatsApp. The key will be sent to you. Since he woke up late, Bhikkhu had never seen the sunrise from the horizon, nor had he heard the song of the chirping birds. He had not seen how the breeze bends the trees with its caring touch. Money once spent can be got back, but time once lost is lost forever. This is what have you understood? It is related to the lesson. Next part B bit is language in use. It's nothing but grammar. What are the grammar points discussed in this lesson? Let us see. First one, using but. What do you mean by but? But is a conjunction, and conjunction is a word which is used to join two sentences and sometimes two words also. Look at the sentences given there. He was hard working, but his son was lazy. Like a second sentence. Bhiku promised to do as bidden. But again sleep overtook him. So the joining word conjunction but shows contrast. Contrast means difference. What is the difference? What is the meaning of contrast? What does the word but indicate in these sentences? Let us discuss. See, he was hardworking. Who was hardworking? The farmer. Farmer was hardworking, but his son was lazy. These two are opposite views. These two sentences express contrast or difference. One was hardworking, the other was lazy. That's why but is used there. He was hardworking, but his son was lazy. Bhiku promised to do as bidden, but again sleep overtook him. And he did not go. Here also, Bhiku promised to do as bidden. He had promised, but he could not keep the promise. It expresses, so but expresses contrast. Contrast means difference. Now look at this, rewrite the following sentences, pairs of sentences using but. Okay children, let us see the answers. Bindu was clever, she was lazy. Bindu was clever, but she was lazy. It expresses contrast. You can see that there difference. Second answer, our team played well, we lost the match. Our team played well, but we lost the match. See how but is used there. He promised to get up early, he again woke up late. He promised to get up early, but he again woke up late. This is how we combine the sentences. He was tempted to go, he was overtaken by laziness. He was tempted to go, but he was overtaken by laziness. See how just use the word but in between the sentences. Lakshman was poor, but he was generous. Lakshman was poor, but he was generous. Just we are using but in between the two sentences to indicate contrast or difference of view that is expressed. So in the next bit, we have using thou. Next bit. Thou, the farmer, was hardworking, his son was lazy. Look at the example given there. Thou, the farmer was hard working, his son was lazy. See this word though. He put off for another day, though he was tempted to go immediately. So actually, though the farmer was hardworking, his son was lazy. As we discussed with the previous exercises, children, this sentence can be written as two separate sentences. The farmer was hardworking, full stop, but his son was lazy. When you combine the sentences using though, we have to remove that word but. Look at the sentences given there now. The farmer was hardworking, but his son was lazy. So when you combine these two sentences, you can see though the farmer was hardworking, his son was lazy. Like that it is given. He was tempted to go immediately, but he put it off for another day. He put it off for another day, though he was tempted to go immediately. So whenever, what do you understand from these two sentences, children? Whenever you combine two sentences using though, you have to remove the word but, like this. Though the farmer was hardworking, his son was lazy. If this is not there, but is used. If though is not there, but can be used. When though is used, but should be removed. Okay, this is the how you have to write the sentences. Now there are some sentences given there. We have to combine using though. Look at the sentence. Ravi woke up early, but he missed the school bus. How can you write the answer for that? Though Ravi woke up early, he missed the school bus. So what is removed there? But is removed. In the place of, at the beginning we wrote thou, in the second sentence we removed the but, word but, that conjunction. This is also a conjunction. So we are replacing one conjunction with another conjunction. This is used for combining the two sentences. Though Ravi woke up early, he missed the school bus. Second sentence, let us see. Raju was ill, but he came to school. Though Raju was ill, he came to school. Though Raju was ill, he came to school. He was young, but he was lazy. How do you write that one? Though he was young, he was lazy. See how these sentences are combined with though. Just we are removing the word but in the given sentences. The farmer was angry but did not punish his son. Though the farmer was angry, he did not punish his son. I started first, but I finished last. Though I started first, like that you have to write. Though I started first, I finished last. You have to remove that word but and write though at the beginning of the sentence so that it can be though I started first, I finished last. Very important exercise, children. When you combine the sentences using though, you have to remove the word but. Remember this. Okay? Conditional clauses. Another important grammar point is given there in this. Conditional clauses. Would have, could have, or should have. Look at this. Look at the sentences. He would have been rich. In the given sentences, you see, he would have been rich. He should have acted on the spur of the moment. He should have acted on the spur of the moment. The underlined, so then he could have been spared the agony. Then he could have been spared the agony. The underlined phrases in these sentences are conditional clauses. The clause or phrase which talks about a condition to be fulfilled or already fulfilled or not fulfilled because of one reason or the other. For example, he would have been rich. When he would have been rich, that reason is not given there. If he had gone to fetch the gold as soon as the farmer asked him to, then he could have been spared the agony of the loss of wealth. So when he would have been rich, if he had got to fetch the gold as soon as the farmer asked him to do so. When had he obeyed his father's words, or if he had obeyed his father's words. If that all Bhikkhu had obeyed his father's words, he would have been spared the agony of losing the wealth. Okay, now complete the sentences given below with the clues given. There are some clues given and you have to use either could have or would have or should have, followed by V3 form or past participle form of the verb. Let us see, some hints are given there in the brackets against every sentence. We have to use the hints to use the condition, to make them into conditional clauses. For example, if he had not been lazy, he get up early. So, you remember the structure of sentences? Would have got up late. Would have got up early. Like this you have to write the answer. If he had not been lazy, he would have got up early. Had he got up early, next sentence. Had he got up early, what could have happened there? He could have seen sunrise from the horizon. In the blank we have to write, he could have seen the horizon, he could have seen the sunrise from the horizon. This is what you have to write in the blank. Had he got up early, he could have seen the sunrise from the horizon. Okay, children, remember the structure, could have or would have or should have, followed by V3 form. If he had got up before the sunrise, he could have heard. What is that? He could have heard the chirping of birds, the song of chirping birds. When it would have happened? If he had got up early, he could have heard the song of chirping birds. But he had never got up early. Had the sleep not overtaken him, he would have gone to work. Fourth answer. Had the sleep not overtaken him, he would have gone to work. Fourth answer. This is what we have tried. So he would have, I told you would have or could have, followed by V3 form. This is the V3 form of go. Fourth answer. Fifth answer, if he had got to the work, his father would have been happy. So, look at these underlined parts. That is what we have tried in the blanks, using the structure would have or could have or should have followed by V3 form. Okay, children, these three are important grammar points discussed in this lesson. Now we have word now or vocabulary. We will be discussing the vocabulary part now. Word now. Now read the sentences given there. You always wake up late, so you have never seen the sunrise. What are the underlined words there? They are opposite to each other. Always and never are opposite words. You always wake up late, so you have never seen the sunrise. Get up early so that you won't be late to school. If you get up early, you won't be late. Early and late are the opposite words. Now fill in the blanks in the following sentences with the opposites of the underlined words. Okay, children, let us see. Bhikkhu was lazy, but his father, the farmer, was. What is the opposite of lazy? Opposite of lazy is active. He would often think about his son, and often opposite, seldom or rare. He would often think about his son and seldom he would think about himself. The sun appears during the day and the moon appears at night. Day opposite night. Our land is dash, but the lands around us are barren. Opposite of barren is fertile. Fertile means where the crops grow plenty, in abundance. The tree has become dry. If you water it regularly, it will become wet. What is the opposite of dry? Wet. Okay, this is how we make the words. Now in B, given below are some words. Which of them would best describe Bhikkhu and which of them his father? Write in your notebook as shown. So there are some words given there. First rays of the sun, lazy, fun-loving, sleeping, gossiping, hard-working, stir, chirping, sunrise. Which of these words best describe Bhikkhu and which other words best describe Bhikkhu's father? We know Bhikkhu was lazy. So against Bhikkhu we have tried lazy, fun-loving, sleeping, gossiping, all these words. Bhikkhu's father always wakes up with the first rays of the sun. He is hardworking. He is stirring in nature. And he can hear the chirping of birds, song of chirping birds. Of course, sunrise. Now complete the following lines using the words above. There are 8 words given there. All those words we have to fill in the blanks here. You can look at that. The farmer would start working in his field with a dash means the first rays of the sun, till it was twilight. He was hard working, but his son Bhikkhu, though young, was lazy and fun loving and would spend his time gossiping and just lazing away. His laziness annoyed the farmer, and he would often think of a way that would stir, STIR, his young son to make active. But his son Bhikkhu continued to be lazy. As a result, he had never seen the sunrise from the horizon, nor had he heard the song of the chirping birds. Like that, those words we have filled in the blanks in the given paragraph. Now, in the spelling exercise, only one more exercise left over, children. It takes a few minutes. Let us complete this spelling exercise. Work plus ing, working. Think plus ing, thinking. Look at the words given there. These are some action words formed by adding ing to the root words. Now, divide these following words in page number 37. There are some words given there. You have to divide it into two words, two parts there. Annoying can be divided as annoy plus ing. In the same way, stirring can be divided like this. Chirping can be divided like this. Okay, children? Can you can you divide the words like that as it is given there? For example, caring. But there will be a change in the spelling. Care plus ing. You must be very careful about writing the spellings. When you write the division of this word into two, it becomes care plus ing. In the same way, walking can be written as walk plus ing. Like that, for the remaining words, you can write the answers. Okay, children, with that we come to the end of these exercises in this lesson. Of course, all these key answers for these exercises will be sent to you through WhatsApp. Thank you.